So I've seen a lot of people posting recently about how they've been reflecting a lot lately because of all the stuff going on around us, and kind of asking some serious questions in their life about their priorities, and realizing that, oh man, I haven't been spending enough time with my family and stuff like that, right? And it's a great question because we are in strange times right now. We've got the pandemic going on around, this virus. We have a lot of political unrest in our country, people showing a lot of hostility toward law enforcement and the government. Those are all kind of scary things. Maybe you've lost your job somehow because of the pandemic, or maybe just the isolation of things and trying to stay home more has kind of messed with your head a little bit, and you've started asking those questions about what really matters. Well, I think it's a great question, and if you're a believer, if you're a follower of Christ, I think it's a question that we should constantly be asking, because we do want to focus on the things that God would tell us matter, and we want to actually be living in a way that's in accordance with what He would say, right? There's a core truth that many of you already know, even non-believers would acknowledge, is life is short. And if you're a follower of Christ, and if you believe what the Bible teaches, you know that this life is nothing compared to eternity that's going to come after. So that should change the way that we think, right? That should affect how we view what's important and what's not. There are a whole lot of things that have no eternal value, but we may be pouring a lot of our time, energy, resources, and into them, even though they're completely temporary. And it's sad to say, but once we're gone, they're gone too. So we want to focus on things that actually matter, because we're just passing through, right? The book of James actually says that your life is, that you are like a smoke that appears for a moment and then vanishes. That's our life. And there's wisdom from understanding that. In Psalms, there's actually a prayer that said, Lord, teach me to number my days so that I may gain a heart of wisdom. So knowing that your life is short, and knowing it's supposed to bring a certain type of wisdom to how we do things and what things we focus on. Now, let me read you this verse because I think it's a great focus for us. Colossians chapter 3, starting verse 1 says, so if you have been raised with the Messiah, in other words, if you're saved, if you've experienced salvation, seek what is above, where the Messiah is, seated at the right hand of God. Set your minds on what is above, not on what is on the earth. For you have died, and your life is hidden with the Messiah in God. Now that's a really interesting way to word it, right? Once you've been saved, you're gone. Like, it's not about you anymore, right? You're done. Your life is hidden with the Messiah. Okay? So it's all about Him now, right? It's all about Jesus. And that should affect the way we do things. So when we answer that question, what really matters? What should I be focused on? We should be setting our minds on things above. We should make this life about the eternity that comes after. And not just our own eternity, but the eternity of others, right? We should be asking questions and trying to figure out how can I use my life and actually show that I'm setting my mind on things above, right? If you're married, this is a conversation. This is the encouragement today. I just want people to take some time and try to answer this question and evaluate your life and see if you need to make some adjustments, okay? If you're married, you need to sit down with your spouse, and this may not be the most pleasant conversation, but I think it's a conversation that needs to be had, where you two together actually look at things and say, man, have we been focused on the things that we should be focused on? Have our minds been set on what's above, or have our minds been set on the things of this earth? Because the things of this earth are going to be gone, So married couples, you got to do this together. If you're single, you have, I think, a really cool opportunity, because you don't have that worry of a spouse at this time, right? You can set up your life right now while you're still single, whether you're going to get married or not. You can set up your life right now to be set on things above, and where you use every opportunity you possibly can to impact eternity, not just what's temporary. If you're young and maybe you're still a kid living at home with your parents, and you say, well, I don't have money, I don't have resources, that's okay. Yes, you might not have money, you might not have as many resources because you're still a kid, but you also have less other responsibilities. And so in a way that frees you up to be able to focus on the things that are above, if you really want to. And I hope you do. So take some time and ask that question, because like I said a minute ago, this is not our home, right? Eternity matters more. So if I can do some things in this life that are going to impact people's eternities, it is totally worth it. And what I mean by impact people's eternities is if I can find a way to point somebody to Christ and they give their lives to him and they experience the salvation that God has offered as a free gift to everybody, you've impacted their eternity, right? You have changed them, not just in this life, but you've brought them something that's going to change them forever, and they're going to experience God's glory for eternity, which is amazing. Now, start asking that question, right? Has my life really been set on things above? I hope that blesses you. Remember, this is not our home. We're only passing through. That should affect the way that we live.